Yep. About damn time. I ordered on the first day and their website crashed. They wound up charging my credit card for 4 or 5 of these, and I had to cancel everything and try again. So obviously over the years I've had quite a number of GoPros. I think the first one I really liked was the Session. Still to this day, it is really hard to beat how easy, durable, reliable these stupid little things are. Resolution is your limitation on these. I think even the newest Session only goes to 2.7. It will be limited on like a big screen TV if you put it on YouTube. This has been my everyday user, the 8 Black. Definitely a amazing improvement over the 5 or the 6 I had before it. You have to love the technology inside of this thing, but you have to hate the execution. Constantly on the river, which is the worst possible place to be trying to do it. I'm trying to sneak this open, pull the battery out, and shove it back in to reset the stupid thing because it has glitched. Glitches are a huge problem with the 8. I've heard they're slightly better with the 9, but the limitation is the processor. So the idea that you put a bigger screen on here for the 9 didn't make any sense when it came out. I just figured there'd be more problems with it. Skip ahead to the 10. What are you really getting? This has a all-new processor to this generation, so it is going to be able to actually do everything, come on, that you want it to do reliably, which basically the other ones couldn't do reliably, which was a problem. The other thing that you're going to get out of all of this, by the way, this is the full kit, not the naked camera. For 50 bucks, just to have the case, the extra battery, I couldn't argue with this. The other thing that I heard was in here that is super attractive is supposedly there's a little settings card somewhere. We'll find it. That helps you pick out what you're supposed to do. Really, though, it is going to be able to actually process what it's supposed to be doing. Oh, thank you. My camera isn't ready to use out of the box. Love it, you dinks. Yeah, I have a question. Why can't I just use it out of the box? I will say it is super annoying, though, that the divider that they give you, this is all cardboard. So the minute that you take this out of this case that you bought, everything is just going to bounce around in here loosely. It would have been nice if it had the Velcro-in partitions that a usual camera bag has. Or if they would just stop giving me these and give me like 4 of these instead. As far as a whitewater kayaker is concerned, the biggest thing is also supposed to be that this lens is hydrophobic. For those of you who don't remember that from Earth Science, what that means is that the lens is supposed to shed water away. Instead of always being stuck right where you don't want it, the drops are supposed to drip off. One of the things that we're going to do is see if that's actually true. I mean, it would be a lot nicer than having to lick or smear saliva on this constantly. So yeah, shoots 6K. It's another GoPro. Another 500 bucks down the tube. But hopefully you enjoy it. It just never looks like that footage that they show in their ads. I mean, it's just incredible in the ads, and your stuff is never going to look that way. I'm really pissed all the pre-release kits that they gave to YouTubers and stuff had this mythical magical card, because that was what I was excited about, and of course it didn't come. So one of the things in the new GoPro are all of the new shooting modes with kind of intelligent correction. So first one we're going to do is their new auto tilt, keep the horizon stable mode on linear, which is why it's sort of a tighter shot. Let's see how it does. This is stock active, so super view 4K. land on you. So, is the 10 worth it? Well, what I would say is that there are a lot of things that we care about that this adds. So first of all, much better just performance in terms of how the camera functions. The new processor makes an insane improvement compared to the glitchy, spazzy last two versions. One thing that you're really gonna like is that because the shutter button is popped up, it is much easier to find with cold fingers. The last couple of GoPros, this was completely flat, and it was extremely hard to know if you had found it when your fingers were cold. While I was shooting, I went out of my way not to lick and stick the camera, not to put saliva on the lens, just to see if that hydrophobic coating was actually doing its job. The reality is, you can see for yourself. There's almost always a dot there. I did a very minimal amount when I started in the day, and then I didn't maintain it, and it got worse and worse. So what I would say about that coating is, it is not gonna be a full preventative, but it would maybe possibly save a shot if you forgot, or if something happened all of a sudden and you just hit record, you might get a better clip out of it, but you're probably not gonna get that cinematic perfect look with no water droplets. The horizon tilt thing, I tweaked with it more after I got off the water, and if you lock the orientation of the camera, you can make it a little better, but that linear mode is so tight that really, unless you were doing something like putting the camera on the end of a paddle and sticking it out into the action, the mode just sort of doesn't work for what we're doing. The new Super View is insane. It just has a huge fisheye, which you're either gonna love or you're gonna hate. I'm somewhere in between. By the same token, the new Stabilization is too good. I think at some point, it's making things so incredibly smooth. I'm gonna try to show right here halfway down Sureform with this camera, and then halfway down Sureform with no stabilization in like my old session. And you're gonna be able to see, I mean, one is just like full gimbaled out, and one actually has some texture to it. And to me, a point of view camera is here to give you, the viewer, a sense of the experience. And at some point, if you sand all the edges off with this technology, it just doesn't even look like I'm doing anything anymore. It looks like I'm just floating like Casper the Ghost. So it's a very, very good camera. I think that when you buy a GoPro, one of the things you should be thinking about is how long before I have to leapfrog over this thing and buy another one because no one wants a collection of GoPros, and yet it's sort of inevitable if you care at all about your shot quality. So I think that this one will probably actually last me a long time, but at the same time, it also kind of irks me in a way, and I may find a way to detune it just because it's not really kayaking anymore. But yeah, GoPro 10.